365 days to be aware of all the gifts. Have you received some gifts, some messages? Huh?
Bene.
Very good.
E come vi avevo detto ieri, stanno per arrivare messaggi attraverso questi amici. Okay? Quindi per coloro nel corso mi raccomando di tenere il libro e scrivere, okay? Qualche concetto, qualche parola che per te avrà un'importanza. Vorrei presentarvi, per chi non conosce ancora, i nostri guide spirituali. Questo è 𝗙𝗀𝗁𝗵 Kirtani e questo è 𝗙𝗀𝗁𝗵 Anand e sono anche sposati, però sono individui. Allora, ecco, tanti anni che ci guidano. Swami Kriyananda aveva affidato la guida della comunità in questi cuori così aperti e sensibili. Ecco, quindi siamo molto onorati che abbiamo loro con noi per questo momento, per canalizzare per ciascuno di noi qualcosa importante per questo nuovo anno. Quindi lascio la parola a Kirtani.
Grazie. Il coro, sì. Per voi che non siete per la prima volta ad Ananda, sapete che la musica è una delle cose importanti per la nostra, individualmente e anche per la comunità. E invito adesso il coro che condivide con noi 2 o 3 canti scritti da Swami Kriyananda con messaggi per il nuovo anno. Okay.
Lift your hearts up to the Lord. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Spread sun high in the sky, who would hide from heaven's glory, who would pass the challenge by. La 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 la. La 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 la.
There's a morning for every nation when the sun's high in the sky. There's a time for every people to affirm their destiny. La 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 la. La 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 la. Even so, all of us together can create a better land. Leave the past, a new tomorrow waits for all who understand. Ogni terra la sua alba, quando il sole splenderà. Nel momento del destino ogni cuore si sveglierà. La 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 la. La 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 la. Lavorando in armonia un nuovo mondo crescerà. Abbandona il passato, un nuovo giorno sorgerà. La 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 la. Abbandona il passato, un nuovo giorno
Segui il tuo sogno verso la libertà, anche se porta a mondi ignoti. Ma una volta che la strada è conosciuta, non ti serve l'approvazione di nessuno. Vai avanti da solo. La tua anima conosce la via, cerca la libertà e non indugiare. Ma se nessuno ti segue, vai avanti da solo.
Allora, come Shivani ha detto prima, questo sarà il modo per ricevere i primi messaggi per questo anno, ma saranno messaggi per tante lingue, perché abbiamo una famiglia spirituale molto larga in tutta Europa e sarà tradotto dall'inglese in spagnolo, probabilmente in francese.
So as Shivani said before, this is going to be the New Year message, but it's going to be in different language because it's going to be translated in many different languages. So just to make ready everybody in the temple with a translator.
Ha detto e come ho cercato anche di comunicare, la musica di Swamiji porta tanti messaggi per noi e volevo ridire alcune delle parole di questo canto appena fatto, Walk Like a Man. What was I speaking? Oh. Succede spesso. It often happens. We're very, at least bilingual here, and it's not always easy to remember which language you are speaking. So those of you who, I mentioned before, and Shivani too, that Swami's music carries amazingly applicable messages, not only for the new year, but for all of our spiritual life and our life on this planet. And I wanted to just restate some of the words from this song that we just sang, Walk Like a Man. It doesn't mean men as opposed to women, of course, but as individuals, we need to learn to be able to walk alone. And that's not, it's an unusual message for community, right? Swami Kriyananda founded spiritual communities of world brotherhood throughout the world, and living in a community, you would think more about what messages there are about the cooperation, living together, learning to work with others, and those messages are also there. But it's very important, this message of no matter what happens in your life, if you feel abandoned by a partner, parents or children or friends, that we all need to be able to stand alone and to live what we really believe as much as possible. And Swami Kriyananda says in this song, give life your heart, which that is a big statement for us to understand that in order to really live our life to the fullest, we need to be able to do that with an open, receptive, and giving heart. To give our heart to others as we help them on their path. To give our heart to the gurus that are trying to guide us to our freedom in God, to the light. Bless everything that's grown and what isn't on this planet, whether it's people or nature or even the very rocks and stones. Everything has a life and is growing and is expanding and is becoming more and more itself. And so our blessing to everything on this planet that is growing is part of what will keep us in a planet of peace rather than a planet of war. Fear not the loving, Swamiji says. Don't be afraid to be open-hearted, to give your love. all of us have been hurt in our lives in one way or another. I've had that experience myself where the tendency after is to close down the heart, to feel the heart constricting because it's afraid to love again and be hurt again. But when we learn to give love, truly give it freely, without condition, without expectation from others or from life, then there's nothing to be afraid of. You know, we know, for those of you who are new on this path, one of our big lessons is learning that all of the love that we have to give comes from God. And our best capacity for giving that love comes from God, who is unconditional in his love of us. And so all of us have that as a part of our dharma, as a part of our reason for being on this planet, is learning to receive that love, that unconditional love, and sharing that same unconditional divine love with everyone, including those people on this planet of whom we do not approve and whom we feel are doing more harm than good on this planet. Not easy, but our true happiness and fulfillment lies in being able, little by little, to both receive and to share that unconditional love. So fear not the loving. All this world's your own. This whole creation is here for you. God has created what is the home for human beings and others in this universe for us, for our growth, for our being able to perfect that divine spark within us and become like the Christ, the baby Christ that was born to give this world the message of that love, like each of the avatars who are perfected in their humanness to become divine. This is also what we are here for and what God created this world for us to have the challenges to do, because we don't grow if there aren't challenges to our limitations. And then Swami says, make rich the soil, but once the seed is sown, seek freedom, don't linger, go on alone. The soil that we build our lives on and in which we plant the seeds of all of our divine qualities, we don't want to remain attached to those. What we plant in our own lives, and especially in the lives of others, we can plant the seeds of goodness, of well-being, of love, of peace, of harmony, cooperation, all of the divine qualities, but not to be attached to how those seeds grow in others. That every one of us is an individual who will grow the same seed in a different way. You know, whoever has ever had a garden, if you have planted seeds in the soil in one area or in another area or in different seasons, you know that those seeds grow differently according to what they receive in terms of nourishment, in terms of water, in terms of sunlight. And every seed that you help plant in the hearts of others needs to be free to grow in the way that they are meant to have them grow. So seek freedom, don't linger, go on alone. Cercate la vostra libertà, lasciate agli altri. To seek that freedom yourself for yourself. Give yourself the freedom to grow into who you uniquely are meant to be, and to give that freedom to others. I had very amazing parents who they gave and gave. We were three sisters, for our education, for our life, for our well-being. And when it came time for us to live our lives, they stepped back and let us each live our lives. And each one of us is very different, one from the other. You know? My parents in the beginning were not very happy about my choice of this path. We were raised as good Christians in a Methodist church, family, spiritual family. I learned before I ever knew about Ananda. And that was a true Christian life that I grew up in, which means that my parents were able, when I made a different choice and my other sisters made different choices and their children made different choices, they always were supportive and loving and giving. And when we can do that with our own children, we free them to find their true expression and freedom in God. Every one of us is unique. And so even in a community like Ananda, we don't walk lockstep together towards the light, because each one of us is unique and has our own way and needs to and should have our own expression of the divine. And so in this new year, I want to share very quickly a little bit about the story of how I came on the path. I was talking with different people recently about how different the stories are of how we come to the truth that we then choose to follow. And that word choose is important. We all make choices. Your choice to be here in this moment for the new year, we are so grateful for your being here and having made that choice. Sometimes our choices are not all conscious. They happen because there is some kind of a guidance happening for us from the gurus, for every one of us, from who is our true guru, or from God, from Divine Mother. And when I had a very difficult time in my life, and I decided to take a year's leave of absence to travel, coming from America to Europe. Before I left, I wanted to see the best friend that I grew up with, to tell her I would be gone for a year. And she read to me something. She said, I know this is something I feel, because we know each other so well, that will really resonate with you. And she read something, and I said, I want that book. What is this that you're reading? And she was reading from the autobiography of a yogi, the chapter on an experience in cosmic consciousness. Those of you who know the book know what an amazing experience that is, and I just knew I had to have that book. I left the next morning on a flight at 6 a.m. I couldn't get the book in America. So I arrived in Europe. I traveled around Europe. I ended up in Greece for Christmas. I asked my parents, who were in America, you could send me a book if you'd like for Christmas. I mentioned generally a book about meditation would be nice, and this book, Autobiography of a Yogi. Well, Christian and true Christian as they were not so eager to give me a book by a yogi. So they sent a book on meditation, but Master made sure that I got the autobiography of a yogi on Christmas Day. I was staying in a pensione in Athens, and we celebrated together at a Christmas banquet party the night before. I had connected with and was talking a lot with a young man about all of the things that I was looking for, that he was also looking for, the things that we are really seeking when we begin consciously to look for more light, the light in our lives. And coming home, we were walking, talking. I mentioned, I've been looking for this, wanting to get this book because of what a friend shared with me. So this young man was studying in Athens, and he had brought with him from America, he was American, 2 books, the Bible and the autobiography of a yogi. So that Christmas Day, I began to read the autobiography of a yogi, and it was the answer to what I was traveling, seeking. And I didn't need to travel more, but we did. We traveled together around the world. It was so interesting for me to see later in my life in how many ways my decisions, my choices were influenced consciously or unconsciously by Yogananda, and later also by Swami Kriyananda, because their consciousness and their life influences how I live my life. And each one of us has, whether we are aware of it or not, that guidance in our lives. And when we can consciously choose to listen for the situations, the people, the choices that we make, when we listen for what is the right thing, they are there to help us make those right choices. So going into a new year, we're always a little more conscious, aren't we, about we are here now because this is a place we feel can help us to move into the new year and find in the new year more of what we really want in our lives. And so we become more aware of the choices that we are making. And I want you to be aware tomorrow when we are together in the Festival of Light of that. On Sunday. On Sunday, the Festival of Light, in which every one of us says, and we do it repetitively or consciously, we say, I choose thy love. I choose only thee. And I choose thy love is fairly easy for us. We want for us to be able to have that love and to give that divine love. I choose only thee. We sometimes have this interrogative. I don't know that I want to choose only thee. But when we understand what that means, that choosing the divine, whatever that is for us, that guidance of spirit in our lives, everything goes better. Not necessarily according to what I want, because my will is not always exactly aligned with God's will, but it always, in the most in situations where I most didn't want what God wanted for me, it always turned out to be what was the best for my growth. And that's what I wish for you, in this new year is that you are able to attune yourself more and more to that divine will that allows you to say, I choose only thee, knowing that that choice in any given situation will bring you to what is the right thing for you and for everyone else in your life. And may that be the year of 2026 for you, that you have ever more gratitude, hope, love, peace, light, joy in your life, and that you be able to make the choices that allow you to share that with others.
Thank you. We sang a song that's called A New Tomorrow. And as I was sitting at the banquet last night, I realized that so many, we have this particular New Year's event here at Ananda has attracted many, many new people. And some I know were online, have been online and have come for the first time. Others just are really brand new. And I just wanted to share, not only for the new ones, but also to maybe just refresh all of our Ananda worldwide family and our community here, that we really do believe in a new tomorrow. And we do believe that these masters have come not only with a new message, but a new way of life. And so I wanted to just read something that that Swami Kriyananda wrote just very briefly, because it sums up what we're doing here. He says, human vision beholds individuality and separation everywhere. Divine vision beholds the oneness of cosmic light from which everything is manifested. Cosmic light reflects eternal truth. But the world as revealed by our senses is illusory. And it is an illusion, and it is that new tomorrow that we want to find is not an easy thing. And as Kirtani was saying, when we tune into the message of the masters, they very plainly say it's guru-given meditation. It's guru-given guidance. And as Jesus said, we need to knock on that door, and then the door will open and he will enter and sup with us. As I've repeated many times in this community, Yogananda made a similar claim that it doesn't matter whether I'm in the body or not. For those who are in tune, I will stoop down from heaven and make them realize the love of the Father. Give them the power to realize the love of the Father. So I'm going to read one more quote that I often do, and that is where Yogananda says, I want to remain in this steady spirit of God, and he builds with power, that I can give you something, saturate you, bathe you in this ocean of infinity, and you change forever, forever, forever in this ocean of light which I behold. And that is really our message here, is that we are children of light, and that is why, in a way, Ananda is creating a new tomorrow. But it isn't just a new tomorrow, it's a new way of living. I was, again, reflecting last night during the dinner how, and the event last night, we have created a community. We eat possibly too good, and we have theater, and we have music, and we are dedicated, or we desire to help lift the consciousness of the world. But frankly, we also understand it has to begin with lifting our own consciousness. And that's why we are dedicated to daily meditation, to our daily practices, because as these great masters have said, it's the only way we will calm the mind and finally perceive the inner light. It's the most important thing that we can do. So what I wanted to, I'll just speak briefly, but what I wanted to share is that most of you know there's this wonderful series called The Chosen. People have different opinions about it, but the particular one that I recently watched, Jesus had approached Nathaniel on a work site, and Jesus knew that this was one of the apostles, that he was going to call this apostle. But of course, Nathaniel didn't. So the way the scene unfolds is that Jesus is the carpenter, but Nathaniel is a mason working with brick, and Jesus invites him to have lunch. And as the conversation warms and goes forward, Jesus says, "I'm a rabbi and I want you to follow me." And Nathaniel goes, "Well, what's the wage?" And he goes, No, I'm a rabbi and I'm not calling you to follow me to another job. I'm calling you to follow me. And it's beautifully done, because Nathaniel just is ready to walk away. He's just not sure what this man is about and what he's saying. And then this is what Jesus says. He says, "I asked you to become part of changing the world. I have asked you to become part of a family, not of relatives, but of blood bonds just the same. I have asked you to spend your days with some of the most interesting, unfettered, funny, driven, brave, nurturing, smart, strong, passionate, fiery, loyal, loving, imperfect people who have ever walked the earth." I think that just describes this community perfectly. And it describes the movement of Ananda. It's full of people who really, that is what these masters have asked us to be unfettered, to be funny, but to be driven. And as the song today, Go On Alone, be brave, be passionate about what we're doing, loyal, loving. We are imperfect, but we embrace those qualities as we move this movement of Ananda forward into the world. And just as Nathaniel was calling his disciples, so do these masters now call for the world, for there to be born in the world a new awakening. And it is about light, and it is about being passionate about developing the inner light, developing a relationship with Spirit. So Jesus wasn't quite finished. He says, "I have asked you to have faith that you will see and do things that you cannot imagine. In this life, you'll be adored, you'll be hated, you'll be needed, lost, and found. You will travel and possibly live everywhere and nowhere. You will lose friends. You may find yourself alone. You will lose your old life. You will go to the ends of the earth and yet be part of the beginning of the greatest movement on earth. People may say that you are a fool and that these masters, or that the masters are a lie. You might be called a heretic, a liar, a fraud. Others will celebrate and venerate your memory and call you a saint. But none of that is the point. So this is still Jesus talking to Nathaniel. None of that is the point. The point is that you have said yes to a world that says no. That you hoped against hope and believed against belief. I know you will surrender much, and still you must hold fast to the very end of my coming. That is really what we're doing. We must hold fast with the belief that Spirit will come to us, with the belief that the light will be born in us. And that is really the promise. The Masters make the promise. Knock, and the door shall be opened, and I will enter and sup with you. It is the light of Spirit, and it is a promise that the Masters make. But I will just close this with this one thought. It is God's grace. And I got into this discussion once with Swami Kriyananda, because he said, you can do your practices, you can do everything perfect, and still God may not come. You may be the Kriya yogi that sees that inner pathway, raises the current up toward the light, that he's really perfected the process of realizing that the kingdom of God is within, and yet God comes. It is His grace that is what determines when God will come. I said, well, to Swami, that doesn't even seem fair. And he said, yeah, but it's God realizing God, and He may still have more to play through you, but the long and short of it is that what we do in our daily lives and what yoga is cooperating with grace. And the more we cooperate with the process that we need to do in order to open ourselves up, the more then we attract that grace. So it's true, it sounds discouraging, but still we hold the reins in our hand, because what we do in our daily life and what we do in a dharmic way is cooperate with grace. And that's why the movement of Kriya Yoga is about diet. It is about whether we smoke and drink. It is about our daily lives and how we love and how we serve. It is about all of our daily activities. We need to harmonize what we do daily, but then we also need to be sure that we seek the kingdom of God within us. So I will leave you with this message of this hope for the new year, in that I know all of you are here because you are attracted to bettering yourself. The major number of you here are doing the reflections course. Many of you also want to do the sahajas online. How to enter into the new year, how to overcome the grooves of past habits. You are here because you want to better yourselves. And for that, we are very grateful because you are why we exist. You are here because we want to serve. If we don't serve, the Master says we don't grow. So it's a little selfish, but the fact is that we are here to serve you. And so I hope that you will go away from Ananda. When you go away from Ananda, I hope that you know that we are here to help you in your process of raising your consciousness and making this world a better place. So God bless you all, and enter this new year with joy. Swami Kriyananda called Yogananda the bliss avatar. And as I mentioned with the yoga, with Jayadev's yoga group yesterday, it is a God of bliss that is spinning the galaxies and spinning the atoms and spinning the suns and the moons and the planets. It's a God of bliss. And that God of bliss is a silent observer behind every one of our individual self-awareness. Right behind our thoughts is that silent spirit observer that I like it, Shivani, I'm not sure if you've included this year the Playmate, but there's a poem where Master writes, and finally we realize behind the roaring sea and behind the cosmic play, we hear this subtle voice, hello, Playmate, I am here. And we should have that relationship with God. He's our playmate. He's playing through us. And everything is joy and everything is bliss if we can tune in to that Spirit of God that is behind our thoughts, behind our emotions, who is casting the light out, manifesting the universe. But even behind the universe is that quiet spirit of bliss that accompanies us. So may you enter in the new year in that bliss and in that joy, and God bless you all.
Happy New Year, Ananda.
Thank you, dear.
Coloro che sono qui per l'ultimo incontro, per il corso della riflessione, ci troviamo in punto alle 12:15. Guardiamo i messaggi che sono arrivati. Am I supposed to speak in English? Yeah. No, just take your headphones off because it doesn't, the people out there, they're not going to come. Okay.